If you've spent any time in the Sonic community, whether it's watching YouTube videos, talking to others on Twitter, or even hanging out on Discord, you would know that you cannot escape Sonic hot takes. For those unaware, hot takes are essentially opinions that people have that are very unpopular or controversial. An example would be someone saying that Sonic Freeriders is the best Sonic racing game. Let's be honest here, not many people think that. Don't get me wrong, for other franchises, hot takes definitely do exist. They're just not as prevalent. With the Sonic franchise, there's been so many different interpretations of Sonic that we all have our own expectations of what should be coming from Sonic games. And now we're here, where hot takes is very common for Sonic and you can't find a single person who doesn't have one. I really do mean that. If you are a Sonic fan, you most likely have at least one hot take. One take that is going to cause discourse regardless of how you present it. So I thought it would be fun to give my top 5 biggest hot takes that I have. But before I can do that, I must address the big, fat, stinky, smelly elephant in the room. SonicTubers, a fellow creator, already made a video just like this, and when I saw that, I was hit with depression. How could you do this to me, SonicTubers? I trusted you. It ain't that dramatic. This has happened before. Me and SonicTubers just always happen to have the same ideas. Either way, if you like this video and you want more, go check out SonicTubers' video. Anyways, back to this video. Make sure to stay until the end because there's a few guest appearances. Oh boy, I'm excited for that. Alright, to kick it off with my number 5 hot take, we have that I actually don't like the idea of hypersonic. Something I've noticed in the Sonic community is that there's this common fascination with Sonic having multiple super forms. I've seen Sonic fans always wish for Hypersonic to return or for Sonic to get a new super form in general. I don't really like that idea. The main reason why I don't like it is because of power scaling. And look, I am a big fan of Dragon Ball and especially Naruto, surprisingly, but I don't really care about the constant growth in new forms. I feel like the more super forms that you give to Sonic is just making Super Sonic less special. Sonic going into his super form won't feel as exciting knowing that there's another form for him to switch into later on in the game. I only want Super Sonic, but I will give my thoughts on what they could do with it to make it more interesting. How I think it should be handled is Super Sonic should just evolve. Instead of giving Sonic new super forms, just change Super Sonic. Just think about it for a moment. Super Sonic from Sonic 2 still turned yellow and it gave him power, but he also had dark eyes. Then in Sonic 3, we saw Super Sonic gain green eyes. In Sonic Adventure, we saw Super Sonic with red eyes and a different quill formation. Sonic Heroes changed the quill formation again. And then once we get all the way to Sonic Frontiers, we can already see that Super Sonic has a lot more powers added to it, such as this weird hologram clone thing. Which, by the way, that was so cool the first time I saw that. That's what I want from Super Sonic. I want to keep adding to the super form that we already have instead of just making new ones. That way, Super Sonic keeps becoming cooler while also maintaining the special aspect that it's always had. Number 4, I like Sonic Lost World. This game has got to be one of the most undeservedly hated games of all time. I mean that too. I really do believe Sonic Lost World is a good game. It is a solid 7 out of 10. Now, it's not perfect. I do feel that art style wise, it's pretty bad. The story is also a bit disappointing. It had a lot of potential with the Robotnik and Sonic teaming up storyline and roboticized Tails, but unfortunately they dropped the ball with both of those ideas. However, gameplay wise, I don't know, man. I don't really see an issue here. I mean, it's nothing like we've had before, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. You know what? I'm actually gonna drop a hot take inside of this hot take. I think that if Sonic Lost World had the same gameplay inside a realistic setting with like cities and the Sonic Adventure art style, it would have been looked back upon a lot more fondly. You can call me crazy all you want, but I swear if this game had a city setting, it would be all over on Twitter saying, oh my gosh, this game is such a masterpiece. I love this game. How could the critics hate it? But it looks like a Mario game and it lost the Sonic edge, so I don't think people are very accepting to it. I know that might make a few people upset, but I don't really care. It's my video. Cry about it. Number 3. The Sonic Advance games are not that good. Okay, look, I think Sonic Advance 1 is a good game. It's an all-around solid experience. Sonic Advance 2 and Sonic Advance 3, well, those just kinda suck. Sonic Advance 2 is just a straight line with alternate pathways that are also straight lines. You can pretty much beat half of this game by holding right and pressing the jump button occasionally. The only time in which you gotta put some intense player input is when death pits are introduced and with boss fights. To me, Sonic Advance 2 is boring. Sonic Advance 3 I think is slightly better, but it still sucks too. It isn't a straight line like Sonic Advance 2, but now it's frustrating with very punishing level design and confusing hub worlds. Now, listen, I really do want to like Sonic Advance 3. The game conceptually is awesome. The idea that you can find different pathways and complete levels differently based on who you team up with alongside the cool overarching story, that all sounds cool to me. That sounds like the best 2D Sonic game ever made. So please understand that this is really hard for me to say, but I still don't like this game. If there was ever a Sonic the Hedgehog 4, I would want it to be like Sonic Advance 3, except with better level design. Number 2, Sonic Heroes sucks. Yeah, this is probably my most popular hot take because it's practically a part of my channel branding at this point to hate Sonic Heroes. So, yeah, you should have expected this in the video. I know that Sonic Heroes is a very beloved Sonic game, but I don't think it's that good. The level design is the same thing repeating over and over again with a million fans to fly up and an endless amount of poles to swing up. The game is also very janky with slippery controls and plenty of bugs and collision issues. Then to top it all off, you have to play it 4 times to get the final ending. This game is the definition of repetitive. Now, at the end of the day, I just think it's mediocre. It isn't nearly as bad as, say, the Storybook games or Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. But regardless, I tend to hype up the hate that I have for this game when in reality, it's not the worst thing imaginable. I think it's just mid. And not the good kind of mid, but mid. So don't get offended that I think this game isn't great. I understand that this game has its audience, and by no means is anything I say in this video objective at all. These are just my own personal viewpoints. I feel like I have to say that in this section of the video because people will go crazy over this game, and I do understand that. I know it is very upsetting that Sonic Heroes isn't as good as Sonic Unleashed. Not every game can outclass the GOAT, and I apologize that this is how life is. Okay, that was a joke. Please don't unsubscribe. I love you guys. Anyways, for number 1, which is definitely my biggest Sonic hot take, I want to take a moment to breathe. Alright? Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's begin. Sonic CD is better than Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Alright, guys, relax. Please, relax.
Hey, baby,
it's okay. It's okay. Here's the thing. I didn't always believe this. There was a period in time in which I thought Sonic CD was mediocre. But after playing it again and memorizing the generator locations, I found myself enjoying the game a lot. I made a whole review for Sonic CD a while back that pretty much explains my experience with the game and how I came to love it, so if you're curious about my viewpoint, I recommend you go check that out. But the thing about that review is that after Sonic CD had redeemed itself for me, I always felt like it was better than Sonic 3. But, you know, I wanted to wait until the honeymoon phase was over before I start pushing my propaganda. Now, here we are. Almost a year later, and Sonic CD is still one of my favorite platformers of all time. The main reason why I prefer it over Sonic 3 is because I feel like Sonic CD is a lot more consistent than Sonic 3. All of the zones are bangers, with the small exception being Wacky Workbench. That zone is just alright. However, if I go look at Sonic 3, I don't really care about Sandopolis, Flying Battery, and Mushroom Hill just kinda exists. Sonic CD is good all of the way through, so I like it more. Sonic 3 definitely does have the higher highs with the boss fights in the story, and I can definitely acknowledge that, but I care more about the levels themselves, and Sonic CD provides that for me. Anyways, those were my controversial takes, but now I want to make this section of the video something very special. I want to go check out a variety of other Sonic content creators that you may or may not know already, and ask them what their most controversial Sonic takes are. And I am going to judge their opinions. Links to all of the creators' channels down below. Also, if you are a VIP channel member, you can actually watch the entire interviews I had with these people. I think it's quite interesting myself. itself. For example, the Nativefall and Prem interviews went on for like 20 minutes, so if you want to watch that, then become a channel member. I would much appreciate that. Anyways, let's get into this section of the video. Let's go. So, you know why we're here. I'm here to ask you, what is your most controversial Sonic take?
My controversial takes have changed so much because like 7 years ago, Love in 06 was so controversial and now everyone's saying it, so it's not even like a big deal anymore. But if I was to give one for now, I would say Sonic 4 is better than Sonic CD. That's both episodes better than Sonic CD. That's including the soundtracks. Yeah. On top of that, I would say CD has the worst classic soundtrack.
Okay. You think Sonic 4 is better than Sonic CD?
Yeah, easily.
Easily, like it's no competition?
Yeah, because CD is actively annoying, like in its design, whereas Sonic 4's biggest offense is being unoriginal and basic, which I'd rather play unoriginal and basic than boring. You know, if I was stuck in a prison cell and they said you could either have Sonic 4 Episode 1 or Sonic CD to play for your sentence, I would pick Episode 1.
You can't tell me Sonic CD is more annoying. Like, the torches, the minecart, like...
What annoys me about Sonic CD is that it acts like it's a sequel to Sonic 1, but it came out after Sonic 2. So people make excuses for it as if it's like a Sonic 1 sequel. Maybe in the timeline it is, but it's worse in every way to Sonic 2. But yeah, it's heralded as like some amazing game because the soundtrack isn't limited by 16-bit, so it's like it seems cooler because of the intro and all that. Sonic 1 was more fun, and it had its own rough edges, but at least that had the excuse of being the first game. CD's rough edges were just the proof that we needed Yuji Naka at the time, because he didn't work on CD. That was like a spin-off team.
Okay, are we talking about all versions of CD or the original release? Like, does this include Retro Engine versions as well?
Retro Engine version definitely improved the game, and I couldn't even play the original version. It was that bad.
I do agree that the original version was heavily... It was a lot worse than Retro Engine version, especially with how the camera worked with Sonic being like on the far left part of the screen, but we can't have this section of the video be so long. I swear if there's ever a day where we have a Sonic 2 versus Sonic CD debate, I would love to have that debate. But I do want to move on to your second point, that the soundtrack is the worst of the classics. How do you even say something like that?
I believe that, and people can say what they want, but technology creates a bias, right? And I'll say this firsthand, because like when 06 came out, and you know I love 06, like, I remember Heroes is my favorite Sonic game, but like graphically going from Heroes to 06 in the main series is like a graphical shift that we don't see every day. And I feel like people have that feeling with CD, where it's like you listen to Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 soundtrack, and it's like this limited by the hardware, like 16-bit, sounds. And then CD comes in, and it's like the first Sonic game to have actual regular audio sounds or whatnot. And I feel like that elevates CD's soundtrack in everyone's eyes to be automatically better than everything that was in the classics. But I don't believe that it is. Like, when I listen to the songs compared to the ones in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic 2, Sonic 1, especially 2 and 3, like the Michael Jackson music and things like that, it's just more so that as a soundtrack, it's not as catchy or as iconic as the songs in the other games. Like, it's just not.
I feel like that's mostly because, like, those games are much more popular than Sonic CD. Sonic CD got, like, people didn't really actually get to play the game until, like, when did the remaster come out? In 2011?
You could say the same about Sonic 3 and Knuckles, though, because that Sonic 1 and 2 both came with the Genesis as a pack-in title, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles didn't. So it sold way less than 1 and 2. And to this day, Sonic 1 is the highest selling Sonic game. I think it's because it was the first Sonic game to not be limited by the chiptune 16-bit. So to them, it's like, wow, it's amazing. But then Mania comes in, remakes the songs from the classics, and then everyone says Mania is the best soundtrack. So clearly they've admitted that the melodies in the original games were better, were catchier, but it's just that they couldn't handle the fact that it was 16-bit. I'm fine with the 16-bit thing, so I don't see it as inferior because of the technology. I just hear catchier music, right? Hydrocity's themes catchier, like launch bass, like everything in the Sonic 3 portion of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, soundtrack-wise, is just goated.
I don't think there's a single, like, not banger in Sonic CD. There's some that I don't appreciate as much as others, but, like, dude, come on, Quartz Quadrant, like Palm Tree Panic's Bad Future. Palm Tree Panic Bad Future goes hard.
Look, I'm not even trying to say CD soundtrack is bad. It's just not memorable to me. Like, there are songs I like. Like, I like Tidal Tempest. I like, obviously, the, what's it called? Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, the Sonic Boom song. And there's probably a few others, like the Metal Sonic one. It's not to say it's a bad soundtrack, but, like, CD to me is like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, right? And then Sonic 2 and 3 and Knuckles is like Good Kid, Man City, and Damn. They just stand out more. They're more re-listenable. But that doesn't mean that the CD soundtrack, it doesn't mean Mr. Morale is bad. It's just like, I'm not going to go back to it like I would the others. I just won't.
I don't know. To me, Sonic CD is the Damn of Sonic soundtracks. Dude, like, literally, Sonic CD the thing about classic Sonic is I always got the vibe that he was like this anime-esque character. CD has like the most shonen like kind of soundtrack, dude. When you go to Quartz Quadrant, and I'm not even talking about the Good Future because I feel like everyone goes to that track. I'm talking about just base Quartz Quadrant. Like, I feel like that is what classic Sonic's soundtrack should sound like. Not necessarily what Sonic 3 or Sonic Mania goes for. I think those are great soundtracks, but I think CD takes it to a level where not only is the music good, but I feel like it greatly enhances like the atmosphere of the stages, which is why I think people like what CD looks like and feels like rather than the gameplay mostly. But out of all the music I listen to outside of Sonic games that is being Sonic music, the only two soundtracks is CD and Unleashed. So this sounds like heresy to me right now.
Heresy? What's that?
This is sacrilegious, man. This is...
Wait, did you mean hearsay? Did you say heresy?
I thought it was pronounced heresy. Like, what?
Is this one of those things where you say hydrosy when it's supposed to be hydrosity kind of things? Like...
I don't know. Okay, how's it pronounced in the UK? Like, hearsay?
It's hearsay, right? That's how you say it. Let me
I thought it was heresy. What? All right.
I'm gonna Google this right now.
Okay, hold up. I'm Googling this too.
Hearsay. Yeah, hearsay.
Is it really?
Heresy.
Yeah.
Well, from my end, it's saying heresy.
Heresy.
No, it says hearsay. Heresy. I checked the American and the British.
Heresy.
I'm literally on my end and saying heresy.
Heresy.
I think you're hearing it different. It's definitely hearsay.
Heresy.
Because how could it be heresy? It's S-A-Y. It's say. Right? Hearsay. I mean, it's irrelevant, but...
Okay, irrelevant. Either way, I do have to cut this off because it's been 16 minutes. I'm gonna hope that this was the worst. I hope I don't hear any worse from Unleash and potentially Jayden. Hello, my kind sir. How you doing today?
Doing alright.
You doing alright? Okay, that's sweet.
I'm doing alright. I've been trying to 100% Sonic Frontiers on the PS5 because I just bought it for the 4th time.
I don't remember asking.
I don't remember you coming in here. You just showed up in my space. Get out of my house.
Well, okay, well, listen, I just want to ask you one question, and then I'll leave, and then we can do all that stuff. So, what is the most controversial Sonic take you've ever had?
I'm going to be honest. I believe both Generations, Sonic Colors, and I think even now Sonic Frontiers are all superior games to the iconic Sonic Unleashed. I do not believe that those games are worse, unlike most of the internet.
Okay, first of all, you're wrong. That's I want to get that off the bat. You are wrong. First of all, you are wrong.
Second, you know how many times I've been doxxed for this?
Okay,
many times.
Okay, all right. Well, second of all, that's not that cool of a hot take, man. You gotta have
cool of a hot take. You want me to say something worse?
Yes.
You want me to say something worse?
Yes.
Okay. How about this? I think that Roger Craig Smith is an awful Sonic, and he needs to leave the series.
That's not a hot take. Huh? Sonic fans hate Roger. That is not a hot take.
Have you seen how many people bootlick Roger on Twitter? I don't use Twitter that much anymore, and I still see it.
Give me an honest hot take that people look at you differently for.
People look at me differently. Huh?
Yes.
How about Sonic Mania is an inferior game to Sonic 3 and Knuckles?
That is wrong once again, but still, that's not a cool hot take. Give me something spicy. Give me something spicy. Something spicy. I wanna feel the burn.
Oh, you wanna feel the burn? Okay. Trying to go back through my freaking memory. How about
You are so boring. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
But when you first met me, I said like, like Sonic Unleashed isn't really the best Sonic game. You're like, oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, because I don't.
Because you know me.
don't.
Because you know me. If you're watching, if random freaking Sonic fans, little Timmy goes on his mummy's iPad.
2,000 years later.
We're ending this interview. I've had enough of you. I feel like you're boring.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll leave now. All right. How are you doing, my kind sir? How's your day been?
Been alright.
You know what I'm about to ask? What is your most controversial Sonic take?
Most controversial.
Most controversial.
It feels like it's controversial to say SA2's the GOAT nowadays because all the Unleashed fans, but my most controversial one is probably that Sonic in the Secret Rings is actually kind of fun.
I think I've heard bits and pieces of this take. Elaborate a bit more.
So as we all know, Secret Rings is the motion controls are not good. They're not good, right? And you could say this is cheating, but if you use an emulator, you plug in a controller and you like map the movements, it's not that bad. And a lot of people struggle with the game because the whole level system and the stupid skills. But if you have all of them, like that game is crazy. It's faster than Unleashed. It has to be the fastest Sonic game there is. I mean, it may be a little brain dead a little bit, just like zooming forward, but it doesn't matter. It's still fun. I'd rather play that than Forces. That's probably going to trigger people. I'd rather play that than the Werehog.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Heroes. Just go find you a level 99 file. And just zoom through the levels and come back to me and be like, you know what?
Okay.
That was fire.
I've not played the game at level 99. I have played it on the Wii. That was one of the worst Sonic games I've ever played. I did try it on emulation once with a controller, and I mean, it was better, but it wasn't too much better. I don't know. I feel like it's still a bit too linear.
I feel like it actually playing it makes it a bit more bearable, but like,
Right.
I can understand, but if you try it that way, you're gonna be like, hold on, this is kind of fire. Maybe.
Okay, but how good do you think this game is? Like, where would you rank it? Like, out of 10 or on tier list? How would you?
Okay, level 99 in mine is probably like a 6 or a 7. I give like a 7. Without all of that, it's like a 5 or a 6. Because look, here's the thing. Secret Rings has so much cool stuff. It has so much cool stuff. The music, the atmosphere, the tone, the story, a little bit. Some parts of it are weird, but it has just so much cool stuff. But then the main thing that's kind of weird is the gameplay. So like, it's hard to say the game's below a 5. Like,
I do agree with that. I feel like literally everything but the gameplay is like 10 out of 10 when it comes to Black Knight and Secret Rings. It's just the gameplay that really kills it for me for both those games. But I guess anybody can find anything fun. I think Lost World's great, so I mean...
And that's a terrible take.
Hey, it's better than liking Secret Rings, alright? I don't want to hear it.
Secret Rings is cooler.
Okay, it is cooler, but which one has a better gameplay?
Secret Rings are level 99.
Alright, well, you know what? This conversation's over. For our next question, we have SuperCon613, and this is actually the first time I'm actually talking to this guy here. I just joined a call with him and loaded up the question. So, before I ask the question, I do want to say that this is a new and up-and-coming creator. I've been watching his content recently, and it's been pretty good. So, if you guys want to see some discussion video content similar to old creators like Steven Nux, I recommend you check out his channel, links down below. Anyways, let's ask this question. What is the most controversial Sonic take you have?
Probably the most controversial Sonic take that I have is probably that I think Sonic and the Secret Rings is a good game.
Okay, that is pretty hot, but how good of a game are we talking here?
Well, not good as like in Unleashed standards or anything. Like, it's pretty, I'd probably put it at like, it's a pretty alright game for what it is.
Okay, what can you give us out of 10? Like, is it a 7, 8?
I'd probably give it like a 6. A solid 6.5, something along those lines. Like, I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but it's a pretty decent time, at least in my opinion.
Well, what's your thoughts about Black Knight?
Oh, Black Knight, it's way better than Secret Rings, don't get me wrong.
Where would you place Black Knight?
I'd probably put Black Knight more at a 7.9. Like, gameplay is way better overall. Story, it's about the same for me for both games, but personally, like, again, Black Knight's just a way better time.
Okay, I actually agree with that. Personally, I'm not a big fan of either of them, but I'm kind of surprised by this Secret Rings take. I do have a question, though. Do you think it's better than Sonic Heroes?
Yes, anything is better than Sonic Heroes.
All right, yeah. I like you. Oh, yeah, this is good. Thank you for that question. Is there anything you want to shout out before we head out?
No, I think that's all good.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, I am here to ask the question that everyone wants to know. What is the most controversial Sonic opinion you have ever had?
Well, I have many. But I think the one that's probably my most controversial is the fact that Sonic Lost World is better than Sonic Colors. Wii.
Sonic Lost World's better than Colors.
Yes. Lost World for the Wii U is better than Colors for the Wii. That's all I'm gonna say right now.
You see, I respect it because I am a Sonic Lost World enjoyer, but I wouldn't go that far. Colors, I feel like...
I don't know, man. There's just something about the way this Lost World is played and whatever, man. Like, Colors, I don't hate Colors, just to put that out there. I don't hate Colors, but it feels like such a massive downgrade from Unleashed.
While I may not agree with this hot take, this is probably my favorite hot take. Unless Native, which I'm about to interview, comes up with a better one, but something tells me he's not. So I don't know. Hello, my kind sir. How you doing?
I'm fine. It's late, but I'm fine.
It's late because you don't live in America. Loser?
No, I'm a stupid little Dutch boy. Stupid little Netherlands baby boy.
Yeah,
That's what I am.
You toast with chocolate sprinkles for
Yeah,
breakfast.
exactly. Yep, it goes hard though. Come on.
I mean, I haven't tried it before. I don't know if it goes hard. We're here to ask you a question. What is the most controversial Sonic take you've ever had?
Sonic Colors has the best Sonic OST, or Sonic and Knuckles is the worst classic Sonic game.
Whoa. Okay, wait. All right. Sonic Colors OST. I like that OST, so I don't really care. Elaborate more on Sonic and Knuckles being bad, because I don't get that.
Okay, look, it's not a bad game. All the classic games are decent at best, good, I would say.
Okay.
When it comes to Sonic and Knuckles, I'm not a big fan of it, especially compared to Sonic 2, and then, that's the best classic game.
But you say it's like the worst of the classics. That means you have to think it's like worse than Sonic 1.
Yeah, it is.
Worse than Sonic 1.
Yeah, it is.
Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Explain yourself. What makes it worse than Sonic 1?
Okay, look. Sonic 1, it had Sonic 1 had an enjoyable first stage. I'll give it that. Green Hill. I also think if you get used to it, there's a lot of moments where you can still speedrun it. You can still get through it pretty quickly. But I feel like most of the level design in Sonic and Knuckles is very focused on stopping the player. I feel like when you're in Sonic 1... You know what? This take absolutely makes no sense.
Why, hello, bigsleeter. So, I wanted to ask you... First of all, how's your day going? How's it going, man?
I hit a dog on the way to work.
I mean, that's not good. Like, is it alive?
Mm-hmm.
Did you check to see if it was, like, still breathing?
Nah.
So you didn't check if it was breathing?
I was late to work. It's someone else's problem. It ain't my dog.
Okay, well, anyways, I wanted to ask you a very important question. What is the most controversial Sonic take you have ever had?
It's not like the most controversial take ever, or it might be, I don't know, depending on Sonic fans. I think Sonic 3 is a bit overrated.
Okay, but what do you mean by that? Like, how overrated are we talking? Like,
I just think compared to Sonic 2, it engages me more. Sonic 3 doesn't like engage me as much as other 2D Sonic platformers. Except for Sonic 1, that game sucks.
Okay, so I want to ask you, like, what parts of Sonic 3 do you not like specifically?
I can't really pinpoint it. I don't really like the sprites that Sonic and his gang have. I think the other Genesis games have it a little better. I also don't really care for the level design. I know it's more for exploration, but I like the more fast-paced gameplay of Sonic 2.
Okay, I see you.
Oh, and also Sandopolis Act 2 exists, so...
Okay, yeah. Okay, you actually have a good point there. So, I got a question for you. I want to determine if you are actually based for this take here.
Okay.
So, where would you rank Sonic 3? Where in the classics would you rank it? Second best, or do you think Mania is better?
Oh yeah, no, Mania is definitely better. My ranking would be
good,
like
man.
Mania
That's all you need to say. You're actually based, all right? You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mania is better. Let's go. All right, well, it was nice talking to you, Big Sleeter. I hope you don't run over any more dogs on your way to work.
I hope so. I hope so too, because that probably not look good on my record.
Yeah, probably wouldn't. So you know why I'm here? I'm here to ask you, what is your most controversial Sonic take?
Man, I have 2 of them, but I'm scared to say the other one, so I'm gonna be a little bit more safe.
No, you gotta give it to us, man. We want to hear it. I've heard some bad ones. You're definitely. I doubt you have the worst one.
If I'm gonna be real, I played both of the Sonic Adventure games, but I really don't think they're the greatest games of all time, or greatest Sonic games. To me personally, they are kinda average. I'm not gonna say mid because
average.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's kinda not mid, but I don't want to say mid. I don't want to say mid, dude. Like average.
Are they better than Colors?
They're not. Yeah.
Okay, are they better than Generations?
In terms of what?
Story. Are they better games?
Story. Oh, and are they better games? I can't answer this directly. I think I have to collect my thoughts and then answer it. Then answer after. I think the Sonic Adventure series is better than Generations.
It really does sound like you prefer Generations. Are you sure you don't prefer Generations?
I know.
Are you sure?
It's too easy, but the level design is good.
Keep dodging it. Do you prefer Generations?
Alright, I'm gonna put my hands down. Put my hands on the desk.
Put your hands down. Yeah, I'll put my hands down too.
I'm gonna put my hands on the desk and I'll put my hand across my heart and say
that too.
The SA2 series is better than Generations. I'd rather play that than Generations. Yes.
Sound very unsure.
I'd rather play. No, I can't do this anymore. I'd rather play Generations than.
I knew it. I knew you had that deep down. You wanted to say it this entire time. I know you wanted to say it.
I'd rather play Generations than this too. It's like it's so hard to like. It's so hard, man. Like this is like both of the games to me. Like if I'm gonna be real, like both of the games are pretty average to me. Generations and like here's the thing, they're averagely good. I'm gonna just say that they're averagely good.
Anyways, it was nice talking. I will probably cut this up to like 4 minutes, but nice having you, Native. Alright, so this is the end of the video. If you have made it this far, I want to thank you very much because this was a very experimental video, and you making it this far just means that you are extremely based, so I just want to thank you for that first and foremost. However, before I end the video, I kind of want to talk about something that's changing with this channel that I think is very important for you guys to know. From now on, if you want to support me or the Matthasnocuts YouTube channel, you can go and become a channel membership, which you should be able to find with the join button below this video. Becoming a member of this channel, if you choose the $5 plan or above, you actually get early access to my videos by 2 days early. You might even get the video earlier than that if the video is sponsored. Regardless, if you become a channel member, you'll be supporting me and my channel, and I will greatly appreciate that. Although I do want to say that I am not in dire need, and this is not a requirement by any means. This is only for people who truly want to go out of their way to support me, and if you do, thank you for that, but it's not mandatory. I still appreciate everyone who takes time to watch my videos, regardless if they are a channel member or not. Anyways, with that said, thank you all for watching today's video. I love you guys. I'll see you very soon. Peace out. My chill members are Snack Pigeon, Zats Polly, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, so make sure to correct me, Archer XYZ, Snicks, Bananas, Jenny Ring, Slikman715, Sonic Up, Chip Chop Chop, The Squeaker Nerd, Super Shax Boom, Sonic Extreme, and Super Saiyan Sonic. Thank you all for supporting my channel. Make sure to click one of the in-card screen videos here. Love you guys, peace out.